Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Walillahil hamd. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is from the sunnah of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that you do this tasbih before the service. So I would invite you to join the ruh, the spirit of continuing your worship. Ramadan is not over, the month is over, but the spirit of it is not. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allah has allowed us to live to see another Ramadan, to come out with the crowning glories of all the gifts of fasting for the sake of Allah. The Eid prayer begins with the prayer first and then the khutbah. So what's going to happen is, Umar radiallahu anh said the prayer of Eid is a 2 rak'ah. And so Laith will be leading us in that. What will happen is he will say Takbir, Allahu Akbar. It'll be 7 in the first and 5 in the second. And just follow him. But when he does this, Allahu Akbar, you stand behind him, you'll do Allahu Akbar and just put your hands down. Allahu Akbar, put your hands down and just follow him. Okay, so Laith, are you ready?
Yes. Allahu Akbar. 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 أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى. سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى. ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر النفعة الذكرى. سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. 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 بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية؟ وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا من جوع. وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية فيها سرر مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة والزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت. فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر. إنا إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Alhamdulillah ta'ala. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina. Wa min sayyiati amalina. ومن يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله. Indeed, all the praise is due to Allah. We seek Allah's help and forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the evil in our souls and from our sinful deeds. Whoever Allah guides will never be led astray, and whoever Allah leaves astray, no one can guide. I bear witness to the fact that there is no God, there is no deity but Allah, the one who has no partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Allah's final slave and messenger. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa qulu Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. O you who have believed in Allah, fear Allah, as Allah alone should be feared, and do not die except as Muslims in complete submission to Allah. Ya ayyuhan nasu taqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum min nafsin wahida wa khalaqa minha zawjaha wa batha minhuma rijalan kathira wa nisaa. واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحم إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. O people, be dutiful to your Lord who created you from one soul and created from it its mate and dispersed from both many men and women, and fear Allah through whom you demand mutual rights and revere the wombs that bore you. Indeed, Allah is ever over you, Ar-Raqib, an observer. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. O you who have believed, fear Allah and speak words of appropriate justice. Allah will then amend for you your deeds and forgive you for your sins, and whoever obeys Allah and Allah's messenger has attained the greatest triumph. If I were to have titled this khutbah today, I would have titled it The Fitra Awakening. The Fitra Awakening. How many of you ever paused to contemplate the profound meaning of fitr? We say Eid Al Fitr, but have you ever stopped to think about what that actually means? The Arabic word fitra, rooted in the Arabic transliteral root, fa, ta, ra, carries layers of significant meaning. One meaning embodies the actual essence of our very disposition, our innate nature, and our spiritual constitution or instinct. The word comes from the Arabic infita, which means cleave, split, abstain, desist, cease, or end. Just as iftar marks the breaking of the fast, you hear the same root in there. Eid Al Fitr symbolizes the breaking of Ramadan's spiritual journey. In chapter 82, Surat Al-Infitar, the same triliteral root, the splitting, we witness the grandeur of the universe's creation, reflecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's majestic power and the ultimate creator and originator of the heavens and the earth. Infitar describes the splitting of the sky on the day of judgment. This word has such rich meaning. Fatir is also the term used to express Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creative power. I want you to pay particular attention to creative power, because that's really what this khutbah is about today. In the Quran, one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names is al-fatir, the same root. The creator or the originator of heaven and earth. The originator means that's the origin from which it comes. No human can create anything because you have to start from nothing to create. You can express yourself with the mediums that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, but you cannot be a creator. Only Allah is a creator. So the verb fatara also used to mean to create, and again, that is the focus of today's khutbah. And Surah Fatir, the same root, verse 1, praise be to Allah who created out of nothing the heavens and the earth. The term fitra encompasses two main aspects. Firstly, it denotes the act of creation wherein something is brought into existence for the first time, a divine prerogative exclusive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, it refers, listen, my brothers and sisters, to the innate, or as I prefer to call it, spiritual constitution with which a child is formed in their mother's womb. Secondly, it refers to the innate. It is for this reason that Muslims refer to those who embrace Islam as reverts rather than converts, as it is believed they are returning to their pure God-given status, that GPS, that God ignition that took place when he breathed into your mother's womb, that soul. In Surah Al-Rum, verse 30, so direct your faith, your whole self, toward the religion, inclining to truth, adhere to the fitra of Allah upon which Allah has created all people. You originated from this fitra. No change. Listen, this is what I want you to hear. No change should be made in the creation of Allah. And there's many meanings to this. But what it means is that what we've just done in Ramadan was work toward going back to that original state, that perfect state that we were born in. The Prophet ﷺ reported that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I created my servants in the right religion, but devils made them go astray. The waswasal khannas. The Prophet ﷺ said, each child is born in a state of fitra. Then their parents make them a Jew, Christian, or Zoroastrian. The way an animal gives birth to a normal offspring. Have you noticed any that were born mutilated? Whenever we leave the fold of Islam, whenever we leave that fitra, we mutilate the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Iblis said in Surah An-Nisa, verse 119, indeed, I will order them to change the nature created in them by Allah. We are warned, my brothers and sisters, that he is waiting in front of us and behind us and to the right and the left. And remember, all the big ones got out of prison today. But we want to be like Omar, that when they see us, they cross the street because they know we are fully in submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam is the deen of fitra, same root, is the religion of human nature because its laws and teachings resonate harmoniously with our natural, I like to say spiritual inclination to believe in and submit to the Creator. Since Almighty Allah made all humans swear to Allah's unique divinity and lordship when he created Adam I.S.L.A.M, this oath and divine imprint is printed on every human soul before entering the mother's fetus. Talk about origin or origin. When a child is born, within it is a natural, primordial belief in Allah's unity and lordship called fitra. We are all born into this world with fitra, pure and untainted, a testament to our inherent connection with the divine. If a child were left alone, it would grow up aware of Allah. But all children are affected by the pressures of their environment. I have heard atheists curse the God they say they do not believe in because of their fitra. As we journey through life, external influences often obscure the clarity of our fitra or fitr. Society's pressures, familial expectations, and worldly distractions may veer us off course, clouding our innate sense of truth and righteousness given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But let us not forget the words of our beloved Prophet, who proclaimed that every child is born upon fitr, this pristine state, untouched by external biases. The acts of fitra are specific features Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created in humanity and found within their natural tendencies to like and dislike what contradicts these acts. That's when that self-reproaching soul tells you, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe I shouldn't do this thing. While there may not be specific quotes from authors directly addressing the connection between fitr and creativity, remember, I want to talk about creativity today. There are general sentiments expressed by authors and scholars about human nature, creativity, and spirituality that intersect with the concept of fitr. Here are a few perspectives that touch upon the relationship between fitr and the divine connection. The 13th century Persian poet Rumi often speaks about the human soul's connection to the divine and the creative potential that arises from this connection. And I want you to pause for a moment, every single one of you, and think about the potential that can arise from your fitr, and what are you going to do with it? Are you going to exercise, materialize, and realize that fitra, or are you just going to sit on it for the rest of your life? His poetry frequently explores themes of spiritual awakening and the journey towards self-discovery. To know yourself is to know Allah, which could be interpreted in the context of fitr as aligning with one's innate disposition towards goodness and creativity. Khalil Gibran, in his work, especially The Prophet, Gibran delves into themes of human nature, spirituality, and the creative impulse. I want you to find your creative impulse, my beloved brothers and sisters. He often emphasizes the importance of tapping into one's inner self and expressing one's unique gifts and talents, which resonates with the concept of fitr as a natural inclination toward goodness and creativity. Last year, I did 30 hours in the neurobiological legacy of trauma. And even the professor that was teaching me talked about the higher self as a part of every human being. Spiritual teachings often emphasize the inherent goodness and potential for creativity within human beings. Spiritual practice and contemplation can unlock one's creative potential, one's spark. Find your spark and use it for the sake of Allah. You can, believe me, you can envision and realize new things, my beloved brothers and sisters. You do not have to be who you are today. You can advance, you can elevate in your ranks as a seeker of the divine in pursuit of this alchemy of happiness. Contemporary Islamic scholars such as Sayyid Hussein Nasr and Tariq Ramadan have addressed the concept of fitr and its implications for human creativity within the context of Islamic philosophy and spirituality. They discuss how understanding and embracing one's fitr can lead to a more profound sense of purpose and creativity. How many of you want to live a life with purpose? Anybody not want to live a life with purpose? Raise your hand. Just want to make sure we're all on the same boat here. Listen, my beloved brothers and sisters, it is through Fitra that we restore our harmony with the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation and for what we were created to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I created man and jinn for no other reason except to worship me, to serve me. Actualizing our fitra is the view of spiritual growth in Islam. Through the guidance of Islam, we embark on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening, reconnecting with our true essence and purpose. In our quest for spiritual growth, let us trust in the inherent goodness bestowed upon us by our Creator. In our quest to elevate our ranks as seekers of the divine, let us trust in the inherent goodness bestowed upon us by our Creator. Let us believe in our capacity for truth, growth, and creativity, a profoundly rewarding and healing pursuit. Embracing our fitra liberates us from the shackles of doubt and guilt, igniting an unwavering sense of dignity and self-worth, and launching us on a path to acceptance and self-love. I love for my brother what I love for myself. This trust is our basic goodness, is a core spiritual truth in Islam. Considering this spiritual truth, Islam defines spiritual growth as recognizing and cultivating our fitra, which guides us to actualize our highest potential, the best version of ourself, not our ego self, but our spiritual self, the true self. The concept of fitra, and that's the strong thought, fitra, and its treatment in Islamic philosophy leads us towards introspection and insight, serving as our basis for spiritual development. The Quran refers to human nature, which is good. Throughout the ages, society has warmly approved certain qualities while consistently condemning others. People by instinct, by fitra, appreciate truthfulness, charity, courage, honesty, hospitality, loyalty, sympathy, fidelity, justice, and other good qualities. Equally, they disdain hypocrisy, bigotry, injustice, falsehood, betrayal, infidelity, cowardice, cruelty, and rudeness. When fitra becomes part of the collective behavior of society, the personal moral values bring about a just, compassionate, and ethical person, as well as an upright society and state. In Surah Ash-Shams, verses 7 through 9, listen to this, my beloved brothers and sisters. I know that you can't wait to eat and your naps are crying out to talk about the world and to just hug each other and get all up in yourself. But just stay with me and just really, I ask Allah to open our hearts to receive these vitally important messages by the soul and the one who fashioned and inspired it with enlightenment regarding its wrong and rights. Successful indeed is the one who purifies their soul, and doomed is the one who corrupts it. Fitra is the duty imposed by Allah on human beings, as stated in Surah Al-Rum, verse 30. So set your face Wajah in Arabic means your whole self, every single part of you, your whole personality, your countenance, your essence. Set it towards Allah. Truly on faith, set your face steadfastly and truly on the faith. Establish and create Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's handiwork according to the pattern on which Allah has made humanity, which is Fitra. We are created innocent, pure, genuine, free, inclined to right and virtue. We are imbued with a proper understanding of our position in the universe and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's goodness, wisdom, and power. In Allah's mercy, Allah has given us the basic instinct to differentiate, to discern between good and evil. Allah Azza wa Jal guided humanity in all ages through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's messengers and prophets, as promised to the Prophet Adam A.S.L.A.M and his progeny in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 38. Back to verse 30 of Surah Al-Rum. The preceded injunction I want us to pay attention to, so I have to repeat it. To set your face steadily and truly to the true religion signifies that religion is not an imposition on human beings. That's what the shaitan wants you to believe. But it is actually the fulfillment of our primary need. It is more important than the water we drink and the air that we breathe. In Surah Al-10, verse 4, humanity is created in the best of molds. So when the shaitan comes to you and tells you something that you're not a good person or that you're not worthy, you say it's a lie from hell, because I was created in the best of molds. That's what Allah said, and that settles it. We all come from a spiritual mold. It made me think, as Doug was talking about pottery, I was sitting here trying to listen and engage, but my spirit was awake. And I was thinking about how you mold pottery and put it in that kiln. We come from a spiritual mold. Do we look like it? Do we act like it? That God's creation of Islam has been cleaved suggests that there is a mold from which the creation, the cleaving, is brought forth. And this is precisely what Fitra refers to, the spiritual mold from which humanity is fashioned. This metaphor becomes even more powerful when we remember that in the Islamic tradition, humankind is made out of clay. Fitra then calls to mind the shape of clay from which we are carved out, constituting the spiritual inheritance of our material creation. A comparable image is present in English when we say two people are cut from the same cloth. The cutting of the cloth is analogous to the cleaving of the Fitra. We could say that Fitra affirms that every person is cut from the same spiritual cloth. Fitra is humanity's capacity for moral and intellectual perfection. You will not think right unless you think according to the way Allah Azza wa Jal and his messenger taught us to think. If you're thinking other than that, you are thinking erroneously. Our journey does not end with Ramadan. It is merely the beginning, my beloved. What will we create and actualize with what the Creator created in us and our achievements in Ramadan? Let me say it again. Maybe we're distracted by the pool balls. What will we create and actualize with what the Creator created in us and in what we have achieved in Ramadan? We started the boot camp back in January. We studied the virtues of Rajab and its role in preparing us for Sha'ban. and we studied Sha'aban and its virtues and the role that it has in preparing us for Ramadan. You have been working on the plan. You have been refraining from your worldly addiction. Each day presents us with opportunities to manifest our fitra, transcend worldly desires, and strive for spiritual excellence. Let us seize these opportunities with zeal and determination, harnessing the power of our fitra, the power of that which Allah created in us, to create a better world for ourselves and future generations. As I stand here today and see my beautiful grandchildren and to see these other young children, I'm given hope, because I know the fitra is in them. And if we love them and guide them and teach them, then they will be standing here leading it when I die. And that's what I want. Each day presents us with opportunities to break free from the shackles of addiction and self-indulgence. We must strive to live according to rightful guidance, resist the temptations of this world, and focus on our spiritual growth. Let us not be consumed, O Allah, by our worldly desires, but instead let us seek fulfillment in our connection with you. Let us harness the power of our fitra to create positive change in ourselves and the world around us. May Allah, the most merciful and compassionate, guide us on this journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth. May Allah grant us the strength to live according to our fitra, and uphold truth, justice, and righteousness in all our endeavors. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Transcendent are you, O Allah, and praise be to you as you praise yourself. I bear witness that there is no deity save you. I seek your forgiveness and I repent to you. I love you all for the sake of Allah. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is 10 minutes to 10. We need to be at first watch, which is how far away? 10 minutes away. Our reservation is 10:30, and we have booked for 36 people. MashaAllah. Takbir. 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 And then I want to do something I've never done before. I want, if there's anyone here that would like to share anything about how they found their fitra in this month, and how you made the changes that you intended to make, that you wrote, and whatever you wrote in this house that night at that halakha. How many remember I gave you pens and envelopes and paper? Would anyone like to share? Not everybody at the same time now. Thank you, please. Yes, absolutely.
It's unique to this group too. So I joined you guys for the first time a couple months ago, right? And meeting you all has been so wonderful, and saying it's been a really beautiful journey. It's my first Ramadan, and though certainly there's room to improve, I'm already finding myself excited like next year, right? With a better understanding of Ramadan, Islam, and you all, myself, and just a really beautiful process overall. But I found that for me, the fasting was really beneficial or insightful for me. Dealing with fasting and learning about it at the same time while experiencing it, and then coming through and part of you all, and it was just really eye-opening, and it really helped me come and accept my spirituality on a more honest daily basis, right? Where I can really thinking about the world's plights again. And for me, and I've been a mental health therapist for just over a decade, and got to the point where I was sort of burned out, right? And just being with you all, meeting Hiba, accepting Islam, the Ramadan, the fasting, the increased spirituality, I feel like it's really given that motivation again. And when I went to it, it's like, you know, I was really excited about that. And so, you know, we're going to get more, you know, through Ika, giving us great thanks for really these organizations. They've found some organizations for them. So it's just beautiful. And it really has reinvigorated the joy of this world. And you guys are a big part of that. So really, so thankful to have met all of you and looking forward to the next year.
MashaAllah. Thank you. Instead of clapping, let's say Allahu Takbir, Allahu Akbar, because that's our sunnah. The Western people clap, and that's okay. But we say Allahu Akbar. We give the power and the glory to Allah. I want to say something to follow up with what Ken said. We are so blessed that we gave way. It's not been handed out yet, but it will be today. But we were able to give thousands of dollars to people in our community that needed it. And this is a family. This is what a family does. It gives to those who need. And so we didn't collect that. We didn't collect nearly. But every year we give away more than we collect. And I thank Allah for
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar.
Anybody else would like to share? Yes, please.
This is my first.
That's my son. Hello.
This is my first Ramadan and Eid in I think 15 years. And I want to thank Allah. I want to thank all of you. Allah really called me back at the right time. And it's so beautiful. Well, Ramadan, I feel like my dad.
But you are a part of it.
I feel like Ramadan has opened my eyes and brought me so close to Allah. And it's funny, I really didn't ever see myself in it coming back to Islam. And it's been the biggest blessing. I love the iftars and I love everybody that's a part of this family. And being this close to Allah again is the best thing I could have ever done.
And you know, I want to share on that note because when Bilal was 12 years old, he had a Jehovah's Witness friend and a Catholic friend. And I'd walk by his bedroom and he'd be leading them in Salat. And so when you see your children return to that, that's the coolness of your eyes. Thank you for sharing that, Bilal. Takbir. 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 Allahu Akbar. Anybody else like to share? Don't be shy. If it's... Yes. Yeah. Anyone else want to share? Yes, Mika, please.
So I just wanted to say today is actually 17 years ago my mom passed away. And so I just wanted to say that had she been here, she would have been so proud of how everything has turned out, because I did have a little bit of struggle starting out in my life with some failed marriages, but you know, I met my soulmate, so alhamdulillah. So
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
I'm so grateful of how we found you, Imam Sykes, and this group of, you know, when we got married. So I just wanted to say that today, the fact that you asked for Eid to be at our home has been amazing, because This is always a sad day for me, but I always make dua. But thank you so much for everything. So I wanted to say that.
And may Allah bless this house and this home and Doug and Mika for allowing us to meet here, for giving us food and drink. The best coffee in Florida is Doug's coffee, hands down. You can take Starbucks and you can take Foxtail or whatever it's called. Is that right? Foxtail? Foxtail, yeah.
This is going to be cat's tail.
This is called cat's. Allahu Akbar. I've only had 2.5 cups of coffee the whole of Ramadan. And this cup of coffee, man, it is a number 13 on the scale of 1 to 10. Who else would like to share? Yes, sister, please.
Mine isn't really about sharing growth of what we talked about that evening. Mine is more of a you know, if you've been part of the family group, that we've asked for prayer so much over the last year and a half, and you know, we've really struggled to get back on our feet and just really I just want to say thank you for the family's unconditional, unjudgmental, non-castigating, true love and commitment to us and to each other. Because there is really so much power in prayer. And when things are really struggling and I just really feel like the world's going to fall out from underneath me, and I just start saying my, oh man, I can't remember the word now. My takbir, life just lifts right out. It's like when Allah wets my tongue when I start to pray for Ramadan. And it's the miracle and the life and the love that you guys all give us. And I want to give that to you. And I hope that we all stay really strong with each other, because we are stronger together.
I mean,
And I just want to say thank you.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Anybody else want to share? Sister, there's no such thing. Let me correct your thinking. There's no such thing. So, it's okay. We love ugly cries. We thrive on ugly cries. So if you want to share, sister, please. Just take your time and breathe through it. We're breathing with you.
I know I'm not exactly in the group, as I can be, or not my faith, as I can be. But I will say that every time Ramadan comes around, I hear that whisper in my soul, and it gets stronger and stronger every year. And so I make my way the best I can, because my family didn't raise me with that. And so I feel the guilt and the uncertainty. So I take one wobbly step at a time. But in the last couple of years, I felt stronger and stronger calling of not only for you, but for your children. You know, you can't use the excuse of your parents and the non-family support with your choices as an excuse, and you have to do what you feel in your spirit and your soul, and to help develop that within my children. And the fact that my children tried to fast here and there with me and have gotten up and prayed with me, Fajr, it's a feeling in my heart that I can't even describe. Sometimes I'm distracted in prayer watching them in awe. And I'm like, no focus, but just watching them try and learn. And, you know, however you can help and support me and my children learning, I humbly accept to keep it strong within me and with them now.
So I thank you.
Thank you.
And I thank Allah.
If anybody else wants to do some ugly crying, please do, because, hey, mashallah, what a blessing. Takbir. 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 Anybody else want to share?
Yes, I would like to share.
Okay.
I'll join you with the ugly crying, hopefully. This Ramadan, mashallah, was very beautiful for me. I feel like in years past, Ramadan has been more a physical challenge or a habitual challenge. This year, I felt like I discovered that it was a lot more mental and emotional for me. I feel like, I know on October 28th, you did a halaqah here shortly after what happened on October the 7th with Palestine, about how self-care is Islamic and how we need to take care of our souls. It's an act of worship that's so necessary, but often neglected. And I think I really missed it when you did it 5 months ago. And coming into this Ramadan, I realized that some of the anger I felt towards the West and just how they don't really care, I feel like, about what's happening. And about what you were saying with my own choice, my own son that looks just like those babies over there. I can't blame the negligence that my family raised me with. So I just feel like what I learned this Ramadan is that the anger I felt that I was using to fuel me was not beneficial. The only thing that'll help me is being close to Allah. Alhamdulillah.
Anybody else? Allahu Akbar. Sorry. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Takbir. Takbir.
Deacon and I want to thank you all for being here. And, you're always welcome in our home, always welcome in our home. Anytime we have a gathering, if we need a place, you're always welcome here. And we love you all. And after we eat, anybody that wants to come back, I know that some are, and the kids are going to jump in the pool or whatever, but feel free to come back and hang out. And anyway, appreciate you all. Love you all.
Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Anybody else want to share? Okay, if not, I love you all for the sake of Allah. I think it's probably a good idea for us to get in our cars. It takes 10 minutes to get there, and you're going to have conversation. It's going to take 10 minutes to get to the car, and then 10 minutes to get from the car into the restaurant. That's 30 minutes right there. That means we're going to be 10 minutes late. So alhamdulillah, if we could all sort of just focus on getting there. Again, I love you all for the sake of it. And it is. Yes. And I just want you to hear this last thing, though. You have no idea how much I learned from each of you. And I want to thank you for that. Every time one of you asks me a question, sends me an email or something with a question, it's a gift to me. Because I get to give that answer back to you with the dalil. So don't ever feel like I don't want to bother Imam Sykes. Please bother me until I die. And then I want you to bother me then too. Because I want you to come to my janazah. And I want you to pray for my soul. So let's hit the road. Okay.
And not necessarily you, but as a Muslim, can you still hear people come and visit with you?
You will hear the last person leaving the grave. You will hear
But
the
that's
footprints walking from the grave. Allahu Alam.
Y'all, God knows best.